The story comes from my father rather than from my aunt and my uncle George. My grandfather was mayor of Lublin in Poland when the war broke out. He was very anti-Nazi and very anti-communist, and he was always on the radio. The Nazis came to arrest him. So they went and got my Uncle George, who was 11 at the time, my Aunt Danka, who was 14 at the time, my father, who was 17. They escaped out of Poland, drove down through Romania, and they left my aunt and uncle in a convent with nuns in the south of France while they went on to England. I suspected when they left them there that they thought that France would be safe. When the Nazis invaded France, the nuns ran away and left all the children. So my aunt decided they would walk to Spain for the two of them to escape. It took them 2 years. 2 times they were just caught. I mean, how can you imagine? But when you're barely 5 foot tall and you're young, people often don't suspect that you've got a will of iron. The 3rd time they managed to get through, imagine they probably got through in a cart of some kind and hidden, probably with some help. By the time they got to Madrid, they were starving. My aunt managed to let father know where they were. For 2 years, they had no mention of them whatsoever. So my aunt and uncle were brought from Spain up to Scotland, where they finished their schooling. My Uncle George, did his high school or secondary school. My Aunt Danka became a doctor, and then she moved to Argentina. Because she was a woman, she wasn't allowed to practice in the city, so she had to be a rural doctor and practice medicine on horseback. I think if you scratch the surface on just about anybody, you'll find stories, history. I think people need to remember what conflict causes. And I think it's also important to remember the people who did heroic things. My aunt, she was tough. But it never occurred to her that she was being a hero. You just do it, don't you?